Death da, how be knacking. Welcome to podcast number 177. Well, hopefully you can't hear the noise in the background, but if you can, 'tis the blimmin' rain. I tell you what, I'm fed up with this rain now. All the time. 'Tis rain every day. And, I've had too much of it. But there we are. Hopefully you can't hear it in the background anyway. But I'm back again. Another week has flown by. A weekend pretty much full of work, mainly paperwork. We did have a couple hours off Sunday afternoon because we had our youngest grandson, Lenny, come over with us for a couple hours, which was proper. And I think he's coming over again this Sunday, which could be interesting because I'm home alone. 'Tis just me and the dogs and the cats. Can't stand the cats. But me and the dogs and the cats, because Beth had gone up to England with her mother and her sister to see her godmother. So 'tis me and Lenny, just the two of us. Well, what could possibly go wrong? One thing I did do, I think that was Sunday actually, I think. I popped up Mother's when Days was up there with Jamie and Lenny, and Jamie took a photo of us 4 generations, which was proper. That's the first time we've done it with us 4. I know that when Jessie was born, we managed to do it, which was Father, me, James and Jessie. So now we've got 2 photos of 4 generations, which is proper. So then, obviously, a new week. Flat out as ever. We had staff here, there and everywhere Monday morning. Some was out bearers for other funeral directors, Earth and Limo out another one. And we headed up North Cornwall to Tresparret. Now, Tresparret is the other side of Camelford, I'd say between Camelford and Bude, and you turn off left. And we've been there a few times lately, actually, which is quite a way away from us. But 'tis a lovely little hamlet there. Fantastic Methodist church. 'Tis in such good condition. And it's so adaptable. I mean, they had the wake there and everything. So, we went up there to Tresparret for Linda's funeral. And then the burial was at Brockhill. Now, Brockhill is a couple of miles, I suppose, away from Tresparret, and 'tis in a Methodist cemetery. And 'tis a funny thing, really, because the Methodist chapel is one side the road. I remember we had services there before, and then you come out the front door, and then you've got to cross the road to go to the cemetery. But the chapel now at Brockhill is closed. It's been sold as a dwelling now, but obviously the cemetery you can still use. So we had the burial there, and we was actually lucky there because just as we was leaving, it started to rain. We had so much rain, but just as we was leaving, so we were lucky with the weather that day. And then on to Tuesday, we had a direct cremation again. This one was a bit different. It was at Penmount because the family requested, because they'd had other family cremated down there, could they go to Penmount, which obviously is no problem at all. And then we had staff out again for different funeral directors. But that was the only funeral we had on Tuesday. Wednesday again, our limo was out, and we had a private funeral up at Indelian. And we was some lucky there. The weather was brilliant. It was really nice because I was worried a bit about the logistics because we got a real viddy music system. But of course, if it rains, it beggars it up a bit. You've got to keep it covered in that. But the sun was shining and we had a proper, lovely, intimate, private service there at the graveside. Thursday for us was a pretty full-on day as well. We had another a private 8:30 direct cremation in the morning, this time back to Glyn Valley again. And then we had dear David's funeral at our chapel. Pretty much the same age as me, might be a bit younger, I think, from memory. Very sad, but God, what a send-off he had. Our chapel was full, downstairs and up. We had the wake there afterwards, and I'm sure he would have loved it, but he actually planned it himself. It's one of these which quite a few people do. Some people take out funeral plans with us. Others, they just come and see us or see the celebrant and say, right, this is what we want. Choose the music and everything. And it does take a lot of pressure off the family. And so it went just as he would have wanted it. And then in the afternoon, we was up St. Kew. the parish church of St. James the Great up at St. Kew. And I tell you what, 'twas looking fantastic. They've had new lighting put in and new heating. And I did put a couple of photos on our RJ Bray Facebook page, because I'll tell you what, the church is looking some impressive now with that lighting. It really is. And again, we had a brilliant funeral attendance. It was packed. We had to put chairs out at the back. People were standing. Good old attendances like we used to have at funerals years ago. And it was a fantastic service. And I know that Maggie would have loved it, apart from the weather. But in the morning, on the first funeral, Neil come back. He said, the hearse is making a banging noise. Something's wrong. I don't know if it's suspension. It's making a banging noise. I said, all right, I'll ring the garage in a minute. Well, then it was flat out at work. The phone was going. People was coming in. I didn't get round to doing it. Neil didn't get round to doing it. Didn't think no more of it. So then Phil turns up at St. Kew, pulls up outside the church, and he says, the hearse isn't very good. He's making a banging noise. Tim, very good. I think it is the suspension. Well, this hearse is only 12 months old, and you think, well, surely it can't be nothing serious, but it was worrying because I said, well, will we make it to the crematorium okay? He said, I don't know. So all the time, you're in church, you're thinking, we could break down here going to Glyn Valley for a committal. So we jumped in. So as Phil drove off, it was weird. I said to Phil, I don't think this is a suspension. I said, it's almost like you got a metal bar underneath and it kind of unhooked. And then every time you go over a little bump, it bangs against the bottom of the car or the hearse. And the weird thing was, if you went over the speed humps, it didn't make a noise. So if you went over on the level, it was fine. But if you hit a little pothole, so the car kind of went, well, I'm trying to do, I've got my hands here showing you how it goes, sideways, there, just like that. It would make this banging noise. So we got back Wade Bridge. I said, I'm going down the garage. So I went down, I saw Ian, I said, here, we got problems here. So I tried to explain. So we'd gone up on the ramp and we got underneath and everything seemed fine. Pulled the ramp down again. So then he shook the hearse and you'd hear this banging. So we got the ramp up again. Lee come in. So Ian, he shooken again and we heard the banging. And I'll tell you what it was. Me nuts was loose on me anti-roll bar. I had loose nuts. So he had just got the spanner tightened there up and everything is fine again, touch wood. So everything's fine. Because I thought, well, Friday, I mean, we had a busy day today, but the funerals were spaced out. But Monday, I ain't got that luxury. I got a really big funeral in Padston in the morning and then another funeral straight after from St. Breward. So both hearses are miles apart and there's no way that the hearse would get back in time to get it washed to get on the second one. So anyway, but I thought, well, he's only 12 months old. It can't be nothing too serious. But there we are. So that was all sorted, which was proper. So then on to today. Early start again. We had a 9 o'clock service, a private one at Glyn Valley, where you're allowed up to about 15 people. You're only in the chapel for 10 minutes, maybe 15 at the most if you're lucky, which was lovely. It really was a lovely little service. And then back there again for Selwyn's funeral. So I did put a photo on our RJ Bray Facebook page because it was a real honour, really, because Selwyn, back in the 1960s, he was a very successful country music singer. And he went under the stage name of Cash McCall and released records. He gigged all around the country, but also abroad as well. Fantastic venues, Royal Albert Hall, all over. Cash McCall, he was called. That was his stage name. And it was fantastic because it was kind of agreed that I would wear one of his Stetsons at the funeral. And there were other mourners there as well wearing their Stetsons. Oh, it looked brilliant. We had his guitar there at the front, a photo of him as well on the easel. Floral Tribute was the guitar. It was lovely. I'm sure you would have really loved it. It was quite a moving service, really, and it was lovely that they let me wear his hat for his funeral. And then shortly afterwards, we had Bill's funeral there, and I didn't have a hat this time, but I did wear my little Arsenal lapel badge because Bill, like me, was a long-suffering gooner. And again, fantastic attendance, standing at the back. And I know that he would have loved that. He was, and he chose it's a lot of the music as well. Like I said earlier, it does help out. If you think about what you want, it does help the family out at the time. A couple other photos I put on was a new hearse that's now available, and it's based on a 1980 Mini Clubman estate. Now, Jack sent me the email. They're actually up in England. They've got this hearse, but it's a beautiful looking thing. The way it's done out, and you think, well, crumbs, the Mini ain't going to be long enough to put a coffin in. But how they've designed their deck is they've got rid of the front passenger seat. So it would just be the driver there sat there. That's the only seat in the hearse. But then at least it gives them space to get a full-length coffin in. And I had loads of comments. It was fantastic. So I did put the photos on there if you want to see them. So one last thing, I did promise last week to mention our mate Carl. Now that's dear Hans Vertel. I don't know if a lot of Bridgers might remember Hans, who sadly passed away, and Sandy. Well, their boy Carl, now he travels the world with his work. Brilliant guitarist, he really is. I think it's a cruise ship he's on, but he just sees the world playing guitar. What a perfect life. Anyway, he sent me these video photos, which I will put on my personal Facebook page in a minute, because at the minute, now I'm most likely going to pronounce this wrong, and I know there's people that listen to this in Mexico, so bear with me. I think it's Mineral de Monte. That's what I'm hoping. And that's a place in Mexico where he was a week or two ago. And there's lots of graves there of Cornish miners, and there's loads of Brays there. So I did look into it a bit, and it's going back like Latin America. A lot of the Cornish started going there from 1820 right the way through to 1930. And they always say, anywhere in the world, if there's a hole in the ground, you'll find a Cornishman at the bottom of it. I think for about 500 years, Mexico, their mining was absolutely thriving with silver, gold, mercury and copper. But in the early 19th century, their mines, they was pretty much in ruins after the Civil War. Where in contrast, Cornwall's mining industry was absolutely thriving. So I think they looked to Britain to try and get capital, technology, and of course the skilled labour. So the region of Real de Monte, if that's how you pronounce it, they had many silver mines, and they were sold to the British-backed Real de Monte Mining Company, which was following Mexico's War of Independence with Spain. And by 1830, there was loads of Cornish over there, a real community, a lot of them mainly from Camborne and Redruth. The Cornish, they really did have a profound effect on the area there, and it is still apparent today. With the building of the houses, like pitched roofs, which was unknown of in Mexico before. There's Cornish engine houses there as well. And also, on top of that, there's a lot of other leisure activities to Mexico, like traditional Cornish hymn singing, Cornish wrestling. And they reckon, I saw this on the internet, so it got to be true, but they reckon that Cornish miners introduced football to Mexico. So I think the first football club was Pachuca Athletic Club. I might have pronounced that wrong. I think that was the first club, and I think that was in 1902. The Mexican League of Association Football was founded. So it is class, really. But the Cornish miners, they introduced the Cornish pasty to Mexico, and there's versions of that today that's made with chili peppers, known as pastes, which is similar to pasties. and the area of Pachuca and Rio de Monte is now being marketed as Mexico's Little Cornwall. So that's just a little bit, just from their photos, but I will send them. Oh, no, I won't send them. I'll put them on my personal Facebook page in a minute as soon as I finish this. So I think that's pretty much what my week was like. It's gone in a flash, but I'm still here. So now over to part 2 of my interview with Lorraine. And what a fantastic response again last week. It really went down really well. So I got part 2 now, and then will be part 3 next week. But over to Lorraine now, and then I'll speak to you directly with me little Cornish word of the week and my Cornish dialect. So here it is. So I think what we will do, we'll perhaps just go back a little bit in depth of some things. Because I'd love to hear more about like growing up in Amble. I mean, did you have any other children your age there?
Oh, yes.
Up? Yeah. Okay.
We had a little bit older than me. My sister Wendy, she was 5 years older, and her friends was Sylvia Bath, Rosemary Kent, but I really played with Sylvia quite a bit. Oh, yeah, there were Skelly boys at Rook Farm.
Yeah.
John and Philip.
Rob's still there now, isn't he?
Yes.
Yeah.
Robert was younger, so I never really got to know Robert.
No.
But John, I think our birthdays were 2 days days apart.
Yeah.
But opposite the pub, there's 4 pigs' houses.
Right.
I think 2 are there now.
Okay.
But there was 4 pigs' houses, and everybody kept a pig.
Right.
And Charlie Keat would come and kill this pig when it was ready.
Mm-hmm.
And then whoever killed a pig would give Mrs. So-and-so a bit and Mr. So-and-so a bit because there was no deep freezers.
No.
You had to salt it in salting keaves.
Yeah.
And then when they killed their pig, you had a bit.
Okay.
A bit back.
Yeah.
Now, my father, he had this huge, well, we called it a polyphone. And it was out, I think the pig had gone, and this was out in the outhouse. Huge, great metal records.
Right.
And you put a penny in the slot, and it went around. And my gran took in visitors, and one night a mouse or a rat or something disturbed it, and it started playing "Won't You Come Home, Bill Bailey?" And the visitors said in the morning, "Well, we heard this noise last night. What was it?" And it was this blessed polyphone.
Yeah.
Well, I think that one ended up on Amble Dump. It would be worth a lot of money.
Exactly.
Now.
Yeah.
But we used to play cricket up against the pigs' houses.
You're right.
Graham Burt was my cousin. So Alan Auld, Graham Burt, Sylvia Bath, Rosemary Kent. Jackie, she came several years after Graham. So I didn't know Jackie so much as a little girl. I mean, I know her now, but not as a little girl. But Daisy Wills, who ran the chapel, she lived just 2 cottages from the pub.
Right.
And, she was marvellous. We used to walk miles carol singing.
Yeah.
And, really have a lovely time.
Because I can just remember we did perhaps 1 or 2 funerals in that chapel before it closed.
Yes.
Going up there.
It's a house now.
Yeah.
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 Second home, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it was lovely. And, there was a market garden at Chapel Amble.
All right.
And Mr. and Mrs. Hicks came down, I think it was from Oakhampton, and they bought the house and the grounds and started a market garden down near the marshes.
Right.
And my mum house kept for them.
Right.
So I spent many an hour.
Mm-hmm.
They were called Mr. and Mrs. Hicks, and I always called her Hickey.
Right.
And I spent so many years down there.
Yeah.
Perhaps that's where I got the love of plants.
Yeah.
Plants from.
Yeah.
Also, these 2 sisters, Mabel and Daisy Worden.
Right.
And they lived, well, we called it Duck Street.
Right.
Whether ducks walked down there in the olden days, but it's always known as Duck Street. Yeah. The Amble girls will know where I'm talking about. Well, they always wore headscarves. And they couldn't have had running water because they used to come up into the village and there was a well and a pump.
Right.
And they used to draw from this well and pump their water.
Yeah. And you say the barges. So what did the barges, did they bring stuff up or take stuff away?
Well, all I know is it's tidal or was tidal because it always flooded.
Right, yeah.
As soon as the tide came, the water was across the road.
Yeah.
Terrible. And I just heard that, read that the barges used to come up and bring the ladies of the night. But whether they used to bring up goods, I don't really know.
No.
But we used to walk from Chapel Amble across the marshes to Trewarnon Bridge.
Oh, yeah.
Have a picnic under the tree and then walk back.
Yeah.
Because, we just had to make our own entertainment.
Yeah.
But you see, your parents could just let you go anywhere and not worry.
No, exactly.
I was told that when I was a really small baby in a pram, Wendy and Marjorie, my two sisters, they wheeled me from Amble to St. Hugh Highway. But by the time that they were coming back, Mother was looking for them because I was scritching me eyes out because I was so hungry. But they'd walked from Amble to St. Hugh Highway pushing a pram.
So when you went to school then, did you have to walk by yourself or did you go with sisters to St. Hugh then? Or?
Yeah, I suppose I'd walk with Wendy. Marjorie would have left by then because it was 5 years between us. But I would have walked with Wendy and probably Sylvia. Sonia Hughes was another girl.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if she went to St. Hugh School. Can't remember that. No, I can't remember that. And Boss Thomas was the teacher years ago at St. Hugh.
Right.
And then Mr. Buckling was the teacher when I went. And Mrs. Turner. And she always used to suck Victory V lozenges and wear fawn ankle socks.
Right.
And she used to take us as a choir into Weybridge Music Festival.
Right.
And she always took us up Coronation Park to try and fill our lungs with fresh air before we performed with the singing.
Yeah. I mean, was it a big school then? How many children was it St. Hugh School?
What compared to now, obviously, I can't remember how many, David, but compared to now, it would be a small one. But it was good, happy days.
So where was you living to when you went to the comprehensive then? Still in Amble?
Still in Grant's Cottage.
Right.
Yes, still in Grant's Cottage.
And did the bus come?
The bus, then, when we went to comprehensive, we caught the bus to Weybridge School.
Yeah. So he would do all the outlying
areas.
Villages. Yeah,
yes.
I see. So who was headmaster when you was at comprehensive then?
Dobson,
yeah.
Mr. Dobson, and the lovely teachers. I can remember Mr. Owen, and there's two Mr. Owens, wasn't there?
Yeah.
One was metalwork, and Mr. Ellis was lovely. Miss Bates, she was sort of a headmistress.
Yeah. Did he like it at school then, or no?
I loved school. I was no academic.
No.
But I really, I really loved school. But like I say, I was no academic.
No.
And left when I was 15 and went to work at Chapman's.
Yeah. Who else was in Chapman's then? Well,
there's Dorothy Drabble upstairs with me. Yeah. She was in charge. And then downstairs was all the materials and haberdashery. So I think Rosemary Kent and Shirley Rowe worked there. Betty Philp.
Right, okay.
Do you remember Betty Philp?
I do.
Betty Philp. Oh, and John Cleeve's mum.
Oh, right.
It's quite a posh shop to work at, really.
Right.
They had all the lovely materials and what have you.
And you think the A39 went up through there?
Yeah, because twin pedestrianised back then, was it?
No.
No.
No, it wasn't.
So what was the other shops around there back then?
You had Jago's Chemist opposite.
Oh, yes.
Lenahan's, the leather shop.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Nick Saunders' shoe shop.
Yeah.
Higman's. And then there was Bon Marsh.
Oh, yeah.
When we got married, I bought furniture from Menhennick down on the Platte.
Yeah.
But I also bought furniture from John Julian's, which was Molesworth Street.
Yeah.
I bought a twin tub from Shim Menhennick.
Yeah.
I think that one was £53. I still got my receipts.
Oh, where was he then? Because it's Trinant wouldn't
No,
go in
was
then,
he
was
St
it?
Mabon?
Ah, right, because they
St.
are St.
Mabon.
Mabon. Yeah.
Yeah, I think St. Mabon.
Yeah.
But, bought everything local. Of course, Lang's, you see, Lang's had the fish shop, the florist shop, food shop, fruit shop.
General shop.
Yeah, general stores. He had several shops, you see.
Yeah.
Doug Lang.
Yeah. They was a big company, wasn't it?
They were. Cool. I wished when they sold mallets, I wish they kept that as a museum.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
You could go in there and buy a screw,
Yeah.
couldn't you?
Yeah.
All those drawers and,
Yeah.
it was a really,
It was like going back in time.
oh,
really,
it was.
Yeah.
What a
Yeah.
shame.
Yeah, definitely.
What a shame. But things alter so much.
Mm. So, when you moved St. Tefan, because have you still got the shop? You got a cafe, haven't you?
Yes, we've got the cafe. The shop, that's on the market, and we've heard that it's sold and they're taking over in February.
Right.
Because unfortunately, she finished with the shop, but she kept on the post office and prescriptions, which we're very, very grateful for.
Totally, yeah.
But it's an old building, David, and it needs a lot of work done to it.
Yeah.
But we've heard it has been sold.
Right.
But the cafe is a great asset to the village.
Yeah.
Really, really lovely. And of course, we got the pub.
Yeah.
And dear Barry's not very well now.
No.
But he's been there since he was 4 years old.
4. Oh.
4 years old. Came there with his mum.
Yeah. Yeah, he's part of the furniture, isn't he?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, and he comes to church and he'll sing in the choir.
Mm.
But he is poorly now, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But we're very lucky here because you know how difficult it is to get the work done in churchyards, grass cutting and what have you.
Yeah.
But Gerald Blewett, he arranges all the grass cutting. So he has a group of 10, 12, 14, with strimmers and mowers and hooks and all that. And they have a session and then they all go over a pub, leave their mowers outside and go and have a pint.
Yeah.
And I think the staff will give him some sausage and chips or whatever.
Yeah. Oh, brilliant.
So we're very fortunate there. And then my niece Claire Blewett and her husband Rob and Tanya, which is Barry's niece, they keep all the cremation stones tidy.
Yeah. Brilliant.
And the Garden of Remembrance.
Yeah.
They work extremely hard because you clear it and then you need to start again because
it's a never-ending job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, some people like churchyards to look natural, but some people expect to have them looking pristine.
Yeah.
But it's a very difficult task to do that.
Yeah.
But we're lucky to have those two groups of people that work very, very hard. And then Chris, she helps doing the cremation stones as well. So we are very, very lucky. So we've had a bench or a seat made in memory of Andrew. So that one's over in the churchyard.
Yeah.
So that's nice.
No, that's good. And of course, the chapel's gone now, isn't it?
Oh, the chapel is going to rack and ruin. It went for auction. Somebody bought it. Of course, it's listed. And problems I expect to get planning. So they sold on. Now it's on the market again.
Oh, dear.
Nobody's done anything to it.
No.
Windows are broken. Wood's rotten.
Oh, I didn't realise that.
Yeah. Terrible.
And we were lucky when we bought our chapel to unlisted.
Really?
Yeah. So
You
we were
were lucky.
Yeah.
The only problem with the chapel over here in St. Teth, you haven't got much room outside.
No.
Maybe to put a ladder, but there's
Yeah.
no room whatsoever to do your maintenance
No, exactly.
or expand.
No,
So
true.
what they will do, you know, somebody said, oh, it will make a lovely community shop. But you've got to get the right committee that will run you know, a good community shop.
Yeah, exactly.
So I don't know what will happen, but, well, it's like Ziegleg. That's been sold now, hasn't it? But that was going to rack and ruin.
Yeah.
So what they'll do, I don't.
No.
No, because there is a cemetery for the chapel as well.
Right. Yeah, just down the road, yeah.
So they're trying to keep that one tidy as well, but it is, you know, very hard job to keep all the grass cut, all the hedges cut.
Yeah.
And there's so many preservation on trees these days.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
You can't just go and trim where you want to.
No.
But we're quite lucky with our congregation. You know, we get anything for 20, 30 of us Sunday morning. And we've got a fantastic choir.
Yes.
There's not many churches that have got a choir like ours.
Because quite often they'll sing at funerals.
Yes.
They're brilliant.
Yeah, Gareth Stubberfield is the musical director, and he's fantastic.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, I used to sing with them until I had this lung problem. Yeah. So I do miss it, but I enjoy sitting back now and hearing them sing.
Yeah.
We're very, very lucky.
Yeah, it is a lovely little village.
It is, yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Lorraine. Proper job. And we will have part 3 next week. For my Cornish word of the week, I'm going back to the mining theme again. I don't think I've used this word. Forgive me if I have, but 'tis bow. Bow. B-A-L. Bow. Which is a Cornish word for mine. And my Cornish dialect is really a nickname. 'Tis for a lot of the Cornish that went abroad mining. Now, I did have a look, and they reckon between 1860 and 1900, 240,000 Cornish went out across the world to do with mining. Because the Cornish, they absolutely dominated hard rock mining in the 19th century. And during this time, Cornwall lost nearly a third of its population that went out around the world mining. And nearly 50%, I think, of the young men was a big chunk of them that went, as you can imagine. So what I'm going to do, my Cornish word of the week, well, dialect of the week, is Cousin Jack, because that's what they was known as, Cousin Jack, and Cousin Jenny for the women. But like I said earlier, if there's a hole in the ground anywhere in the world, you will find a Cornishman at the bottom of it. So there we are. Right, well, I'm leaving you now for this week, and I hope you have a good week, and I'll speak to you again next week. Wish you well, do Guinness, Carnobus Vican.